Alright, so I don't know if you've seen this, but this sort of style where you present a brand within a capsule was really trending a while ago. So I wanted to have my own take on it because as you can see, these are all made by AI, by the AI artist. And no offense, these are pretty good, but at the end of the day, these are just still images. They are not doing anything. And the best thing what they can do from here is use the still image, put this in another AI software, pan around it, post the result on Twitter and say 3D artists are done.
Stop it. Get some help.
So this is where I will show you the full potential of this design, and this is going to be a fully follow along tutorial from modeling to animation, and we will be making it for IKEA. So let's go. Okay, so before we dive right into it, I just want you to have a design perspective sorted. Like we should know what and who are we designing for. So here I have opened the IKEA website on my desktop, and as I am scrolling, I am being showcased all the sofas individually until I hover on them. Let's hover on this, and there it is. You will be also showcased a space where the product is looking good, and that is what we will be creating in this tutorial, and after that we will be animating it. Alright, so let's begin. Alright, so step one is to find out your preferred furniture, be it a chair, sofa, or anything, something like this, which you are seeing on the screen. If you don't have any, you can find this file in the link in description. And let's get started from here. So first thing that I'm going to do is go in my front view, spawn in a UV sphere, not icosphere, UV sphere, go in the top view, shift Z to go into wireframe and roughly center this furniture, scale it up. This is up to you. I think this space will be all right. We'll see. And go into the edit mode again, select the vertices, and roughly, we are not taking any specific measurements, just roughly scale it up, and Control R to get in a loop cut right in the center. Now this center is going to be where our furniture will be kept. All right, let's drag it down, something like this, and roughly see it is aligning, and that's it. Our capsule is done. Up next, I am going to select the top faces, top half, something like this, and press P selection so that I have my capsule in two parts. All right, I will just hide it and forget about it for a while, and let's work on this section only. I will select this edge, the circular edge, and press Shift D, again P selection so that I have the circle separated. And next I'm going to go into the edit mode of the circle and select all the vertices, press F so that I have the circle section made. Okay, so let's start making the floor planks. I will spawn in a cube and roughly resize it. And let's add in an array modifier. I have my quick shortcut, so I am going to use that. -1. Let's give it some more y value so that the crevices are being seen. Let's add in the count, something like this looks fine. Or maybe these are just too much. I will divide it by 2. Nope, not divided by 2. Let's just make it 0.25. Right, I think that's fine. Now I will simply take the circle. Wait a second, I think I duplicated it. Never mind, I will take the circle, E to extrude it up. Now if you don't have this shortcut enabled, then go into your add-ons. There should be this tool, bool tool. All right, activate it. I will press this, select this, then this, control minus, and intersect. Choose intersect. You will have your floor planks made. All right, one thing what can be done here is, I think, if I add in, okay, let's leave it to this. Control A, visual geometry to mesh. What I was thinking is to add some more geometry to this face so that these are not hard edges. Alright, so let's leave it. Let's drop it down. We do not need it. Alt P, control clear and keep transformation. So this was being attached. We don't need that. Let's keep this still here. Alright, now our floor planks are done. Okay, now let's work on the bottom half. I will select this. Control 2 to add some subdivisions, shade it smooth, and let's add in some loop cuts. Just roughly see these are all of same width, height, whatever. I think this is looking fine to me. I will add it and leave it till there. Add in a solidify modifier. Again, I'm using some quick shortcuts I have. Solidify modifier. Let's make it come outside. Right click, shade auto smooth so that we don't have some weird shading going on. And let's push this a bit down so that we have an edge like this visible. Alright, now this is done. Next thing is, let's see, we have the loop cuts, I think. Yep, there they are. Next thing is, I will simply select the alternate edges, faces, rings, whatever, this and this. I think that's fine. P selection. Now we have two parts. I will select the both of them. So go into the edit mode, press A, P by loose parts. So this will make each of these rings as an individual object. Alright, that is what we want. I will select all, keep selecting the alt button, and I will switch on the solidify modifier now. Next, select one of these. I will add in a bevel modifier again. Not again. This is the first time I'm adding. Let's give it some amount and give it some segments. Alright, this is up to you. You can go to even one would work as per your PC allows. Alright, I will select the bottom rings and what's happening, I think. Alright, so all of these have their centers at one place. I will select all, set origin to geometry. So each of these centers are different now. Alright, let's select the bottom half, then the first, and if you press F3 and search for copy modifiers, there it is, copy modifiers. Alright, now each of these rings have that bevel modifier slapped. Alright, that is what we want. And now I think it's the right time to add in a camera. I will go into my front view. Let's get our 3D cursor there and add in the camera. What is that? Camera. This is the camera, and let's set the resolution to real format 1080 to 1920. I will open up another window here. Control O to see through the camera, and let's see. Alright, so there are two options for it. Either use perspective or orthographic. I think I'm gonna go with perspective. Let's pull it a bit up, and I will make it look a bit down to the floor. That is what I want. Let's shift it a bit back, and also I would want a larger focal length, maybe around 120 mm. So what this does is it enlarges the object. Alright, it sort of does not interfere with the perspective, if you are understanding. Either use orthographic, that is up to you, but I think perspective will look good. Shift it a bit back. Also, we are forgetting we have this sphere also. Let's take it into the main frame. Something like this will work. Alright, now I think our camera is done. Let's add in a background plane, RX90. Also, what I would like to do here is going to camera option, viewport display, and just increase this. Pass part out. I always forget its name. Never mind. Let's extrude it a bit down, and I will extrude this half. Control A scale, select the back edge, Control B increase the subdivisions by the scroll wheel, and our camera is ready. Shade smooth. This is done. Now let's add in a control 2 subdivision, shade smooth, add in a solidify modifier on it as well, shade auto smooth. Alright, let's give it some thickness. This will be our glass, something like this. Now our capsule is ready. Let's hide it and let's work on the interior of it. Alright, now I'm gonna spawn in a circle and make sure it is centrally aligned, and I will just push it up. Let's see, let's scale it. I think that works. And now let's not repeat the same mistake again. Let's give it some subdivision, control 2 and control A to apply it, and I will press F to make the face. Alright, let's place it on the ground first, and let's press I in the edit mode. We are making these shelves at the back, so that is what I'm doing right now. Press I to insert the faces. I think this is looking okay. Now I want to select half of it. Alright, let's first of all rotate it so that I can easily select the half. I think this will work. Let's delete the main face and let's select a part of it. I think this will work. X, maybe this much. I think this will suffice. Now I want you to rotate it. Let's see our camera from here. I think it's a bit much. Let's also delete that space, and I will now give it some depth, solidify modifier. Let's offset it upwards. I think this will work out. Maybe I can delete some more because it has to go back. I will show you what I mean. And let's now, I think I have made up a mistake, but I will sort it out. Select all the edges, press C to select all the edges. Now I will press double G and press Alt so that I can push them a bit more inside, so that I have more space to keep my stuff. I think this will be okay now. Now Shift D, or let's Shift D, duplicate it, rise it a bit up, and R to rotate it, and delete some faces here. Let's reset it and let's take it up a notch and press R, and I think this could be a bit more smaller than that, and I think this is going to be alright. Maybe, I think this design is up to you. I think this will be okay. Now we have our shelves made. The best thing you can do is first of all add in some books. I am using a BlenderKit add-on. You are free to use all the stuff from Sketchfab, the free stuff, or download this BlenderKit add-on. Here you can have some free assets also. If you have search filters on, you will have free first. Now let's see what I have here. Okay, now I have books. Let's spawn in this section here, and I think our height is accurate. Let's drop it a bit down, and also Shift D to duplicate it, and let's place it there. Right now I'm just doing for the scale reference so that I'm not going out of scale, out of proportion. Let's drag it a bit down. I think that's that. So now this decoration part is completely up to you. You can see how many objects I have added. I'm using BlenderKit add-on, I'm using some free assets, some paid assets as well, and I will anyways give out some links for free Sketchfab assets which you can use. All right, let's move. Now, one final thing that I would like to add in is a rug mat. Let's add in a circle, press F. Let's give it some subdivisions, solidify modifier, and Control A, apply scale first of all, and add in bevel. Let's give it some segments. Let's reduce the thickness a bit. I think this will work. Let's go to the top and centrally align it. I think this will do it. Let's make sure that this is on top of the mattress. Alright, now one final thing that I would like to add in is a rug mat. Let's add in a circle, press F. Let's give it some subdivisions, solidify modifier, and Control A, apply scale first of all, and add in bevel. Let's give it some segments. Let's reduce the thickness a bit. I think this will work. Let's go to the top and centrally align it. I think this will do it. Let's make sure that this is on top of the mattress. Alright, now it's done. Alright, so that finishes our part 1, the modeling part. I hope you're not tired because we are yet to begin. The animation part is still pending. You can take a water break or something and let's get to work. Alright, so this will be our lighting and texturing part, and let's work on the lighting part first. I will first of all hide our upper body, and let's add in our first area light. This will be to brighten up all the space. Alright, let's go into a rendered view. I'm using cycles, and I prefer you also use cycles for now so that we are on the same page. Let's increase it to 800 watt. This is brightening up all the space, and the main light for this space will be the spotlight, which will be used to enlighten the interior space. Alright, I will place it roughly here. Double R to point it to furniture inside. Maybe rotate it till there, and or let's have it from this side. Increase the scale, and you can also use show cone so that we see which of the path it's actually hitting. And let's decrease the spot size and bring it a bit down, and those are the parts which are hitting, which I want. Let's see how it's coming out. I'm gonna use nodes part, and I'm gonna also in my this is a shader editor, bring out black body. I want the warm sunlight to come inside. All right, so we are going to manipulate it some in that range, 3500K, 3500, and let's increase it to 100 first, and let's see, maybe 800, maybe 1200. I think that is fine. That's what I want. Let's rotate it. So one thing you'll notice is that our background is also being hit by this line. That is not what I want, but if you're okay with it, it's fine. All right, but I would choose to keep my background clean. Let's hit it to the sides only, something like this, and let's rise it a bit up. And I will also use the blend to all the way up so that I do not have the hard edges. All right, something like this. Now let's also increase it to 1400, I think, and I will come here, go into color management, and I will use look to high contrast so that I have some contrast going on, and use exposure to 0.1 to brighten it up, 0.2. I think this is looking sharp and colorful. That's what I want. Let's work on the background first now, and I will roughly put my 3D cursor there, bring in some point light, and let's increase the radius of it, and let's check in by 500. I think this is too bright. 200, maybe 150. I think 150 will suffice. And I will also, let's see, this is just trial and edit method, black body. Let's see if the warm temperature is looking good or not. 3500. I think to bring out the contrast, I think white light is fine. All right, let's now add in some area light at the back also. I will roughly scale it, make a rectangle, RX RY minus 90. The thing is, I want the background to be white, more whiter than this, so that our main focus remains on the front. Let's shift it there and let's make it to 200. I think this is too bright. Let's also, if you're seeing this light is also being hit here, that is fine. I think that will look good. Let's also slightly, just slightly, not too much, let's get it till there. And let's also duplicate it, RZ 180. Let's also hit it from the other side as well. And now our main focus remains on the front, the capsule part. Okay, now let's bring in our upper body now. Alt H to unhide it. Now let's texture this up. Now let's use the glass texture, glass BSDF, and let's put it on. Now the main thing you are going to notice is that the lighting is acting differently now. Now one thing you need to understand is the glass material, has some refraction going on, so it does not admit all of the light. So we are going to manipulate it so that 100% of the light comes in and yet it looks like it's the glass. All right, to get around it, I'm going to first spawn in mix shader and glossy and then transparent. All right, and one more node, layer weight. Now if you have, I prefer you have the node wrangler add-on on. If you don't have, go to here, node wrangler, switch it on, control shift. If you click on anything, it will just snap in. All right, now add in a color ramp to this, use facing. All right, or use, I think preferably use facing only, and roughly take it to there. And now this will be used as a mask between glossy and transparent. All right, so let's first of all add in a mix shader in, put it into factor and add in first transparent to the other node on the other side, and this part will be glossy. Glossy is this, and let's bring the roughness to all the way down. Now we have successfully manipulated it. All right, before it was just glass. You can see the sunlight was not admitting 100%. Now we have somewhat 100% light also, and it looks like glass. So now I'm noticing I have made the capsule a bit taller. Like you see, there is an empty space at the top. It wasn't before. And if you are in the same situation, either add up one more level, or like I have added a chandelier at the top so that it does not look empty. I will of course give out some links of the free chandeliers that you can also do if you're in the same situation as well. All right, don't worry. Now let's hide the upper body and let's work on the wooden floor. For that, I'll be using this material. You can download this from the link in description. Use 2K PNG, this will work fine. All right, let's minimize it. Let's come back here, and first thing first, Control A, visual geometry to mesh, and again go into the tab edit mode, P by loose path. All right, this will have our blanks separated. All right, now set origin to geometry so that each of these values, each of the origins are separate. Next thing, this is sort of important, but let's talk about it a bit later. Now just select one of the blanks, press new, and while you have selected this PSDF, Control Shift T, open the directory where you have extracted the materials. I'm gonna select color, normal GL, roughness. All right, that is it. And now you will see that it has been textured. Let's go to the top view and roughly see what's happening. I'm gonna use the object instead of the UV. Let's control it that way. Let's also select each of the planks and Control A, scale, and now you will see the materials are being applied like they should. Let's increase the size of it by decreasing it. What am I saying? I don't know, please forgive me. I think this is fine. Alright, now while selected this material, each of the planks are selected. Select the material on which the material is applied. Select the plank on which the material is applied. Control L, link, materials should be here. It's here. Alright, now we have this. Alright, now you will see that, I hope it's not okay. Now we have sort of a problem, like each of the planks have same sort of material. Let's change it now. I will separate my location. Let's see. Yes, location. Separate XYZ. Plug in here. Combine XYZ. Plug in here. Not here. Here. Alright, now I'm gonna play with my Z. Yes, Z location. Let's add in a math node in between the Z and not math node. There should be a node called randomize. Okay, so it's called object info math, and just plug random into this value. Now you will see each of the planks are different. Hopefully they are different. Yeah, they are different. Now next thing is, let's change the color of each plank. Hue and saturation. I'm going to use the same node, object info. Let's attach it to the value node. Let's add in a color ramp. Let's take this black to the whiter side, and that's it. Our floor is done. Now let's give the same material to the shelves. Select the three and Control L, link materials, and that's that. This one is left. Control L, link materials. This is done. Now let's come to the bottom rings. Select all the rings and let's first Control A, scale, and you will see this was not applied before. Now our solidify modifiers have changed a bit. Let's increase the thickness a bit. I think it got reduced. Let's still there. Alright, now Control L, link materials. Now this part here is a bit different for it. Let's unselect this plank, and I will select one of the rings. Press this button. Now whatever happens to this, it will not be applied to the floor planks. All right, I want this to go the other side. All right, let's rotate it. First of all, let's Control L, link material, so each of these rings will be copying this material now. All right, let's rotate it. What will work? Either of this should work. Yes, they are working. Let's increase it, the scale of it, 0.4 or 0.35 maybe. I think that is fine. Now the thing is, this should be wooden but blue color of IKEA. I just googled it. The hex of blue is this one. I will simply come here, and this is going to be head and dryer. Let's see, not this, mix shader, mix color. Now let's add in the hex value, and I will Control V, enter, and I will choose color instead of mix. Here it is, and increase it all the way up. That's it. Alt H to unhide. And this part is almost done. Let's apply our IKEA texture on it. Alright, for that let's add in a plane first, and you will find this sticker in the link in description. This one. Let's first of all new, and let's apply it this. Let's see it on here and open up the UV editor now. UV editor is right here. Now if you press U while you have selected every vertices, U cube projection, and let's increase it up, something like this. Now let's bring out our overlays in here, and let's roughly give it some loop cuts, delete the other ones. Only this should be visible, and if it works, let's try this. Okay, it's working. Put the alpha in the alpha node and you will have only the IKEA one visible. Let's put in some loop cuts, and let's bring it in front. RX 90. Let's go to our camera and see. Alright, now this should be bright. Let's put into, not this, I will have to get in some light, but that's not important right now. Let's get in a cylinder for now. Shift A, cylinder. This, just make sure the vertices are 256. The more the better. You will have around 32 I think, but make it to 256 so that the edges are smooth. Alright, that's what we want. Go to the front view and make sure that its width is being aligned with our rings. Take it to the top, Control A, rotation, add in a shrink wrap modifier on it, select the target which is a cylinder, and use the method to project, and this is our y-axis, and select the y, and this will be applied, and just increase the offset a bit so that it's visible. Control A to apply, delete the cylinder, and that's done. For the front view, it should be bright. Let's add in our X, a light in the front, something like this. And that's that. Now that's part 2 done. Lighting and texturing. I started with full bottle of water. It's finished. You must be tired as well. Let's take a break and get back to animation. That's the last part. Alright, so let's begin. This is going to be the last part of this tutorial. That will be the animation. I am all set. I have got my water bottle ready. I hope you're as well. So let's go. So first thing first, divide your work into parts. What I mean by that is, like, we have different elements. We have this upper body, the rings, and the planks. So I know for myself, I want each of these parts separately. So I will be making a collection of each of these parts. So let's begin with the rings. I will select each one of these. Press M, new collection. Let's name it rings. Alright, and also give it some color to distinguish it easily, and also hide it so we know it's done. Up next, let's do the same for the floor planks. And I think that's that. M, new. This should be floor planks. Up next, let's sort the lightings. I will select all of them. I think that's that. Yes. New collection. Lights. Give it some color and hide it. And these are all of these will fall into, I guess we can separate the shelf and the carpet, plus the sticker as well. Shelf and carpet, color it up and hide it. Alright, now all of these things will fall into details, objects or details, whatever you may call it. details, let's give it red. Okay, all right, now let's work on the rings. First I will unhide them, and if you double click on this selection, you can select all of the objects in one collection, and if you press N, you may now see location, rotation and scale. What I want is I want them to be defaults, that is Control A, all transforms to deltas. Now this will set to default 0 0 and 1 the scale is. All right, now for once, just for once, I will come here and I will deselect the first ring and hide all of them, all the rest. All right, now let's come here and let's start the animation. I will open up graph editor and let's open up a timeline also here. Okay, here goes nothing, guys. I will first of all come into my location. Now idea is that I want this object to enter from here, go down and then settle here. All right, this will be the whole idea. First of all, let's settle the final location of this animation, which will be this. If you press Ctrl T, you will have seconds. I want this animation to be 1.5 seconds. All right, our final animation, our final position is set. Let's set the initial position to be somewhere at the top. Let's see our camera, somewhere at the top. All right, our initial and final position is set. Now somewhere in between, I want this ring to go down. I will come in between here, press I, only select a channel to insert a keyframe. All right, and I will push it down. Now remember, this is just a graphical representation of whatever is happening. Like this position was, if you see 3.748, and if you just zoom into it, this will be that. All right, so this is just a graphical representation, and this is going down up till here. Let's not take it that down as well. I think this will work. Now let's give it some character to it. I will press Control. I will first of all press Select All, T. You will have these easing type. I will choose cubic for now, and for the motion, I will first of all Control E, select these 2 points, Control E, ease out, and this will be ease in. Now, number one thing what you need to understand for the graph editor is, if your curve is looking smooth, then your motion will be smooth. Otherwise, it's gonna look bad. Right now, I see it's a clean curve. It's going right like that. The motion is going to be fine. Let's see, it's come down. It comes down. It settles. I just have some, I think, timing issues. It should be a bit fast. I will drag them back, and I will also take this a bit back so that it's a bit fast. All right, now it's done. Location, we can say, is set. Now let's talk about the rotation. I want this object to be rotated on its x-axis as well. Let's put a keyframe on the x, and somewhere here this should be rotated around 360 degrees. And I will unhide my Z location here, and then if you press the dot on your numpad, you will be able to see the whole curve of rotation. And here T, cubic, Control E, ease out. Now let's see the motion. It spins and it settles, or maybe we can take it to minus 360 degrees so that it is spinning 2 times. Cubic, ease out, I think, or maybe it does not have to spin 2 times, maybe 1.5 times. Yes, I think this is fine. Now last thing about this ring to be settled is the scale. It should have 0 at first and then 1. Alright, let's hide the X Euler rotation as well. I will put 0 here, and let's unhide the Z location. Let's see what's happening with that. Somewhere here when it's settling, I want it to be fully visible. Press I, and let's hide the Z location for now. Press T, Control T, sorry, just only T, cubic, Control E, ease out. Let's see. I think this motion is smooth enough. Now Our ring part is almost done. Let me show you how. Alt H to unhide them. I think we forgot about the sphere, the upper part. Let's hide it for now. Let's select each of these rings and the last ring which we recently animated. If you press Ctrl L, and there should be an option called link animation data. Now what this is going to do is this is going to copy the animation of each ring, but now I want each of these rings to happen one at a time. Alright, but the problem is that if I change the motion of one ring, each of the other ring is going to take an effect. For that I will go into object, and there should be an option relation make single user object animation. Now if I change one of the animation, the other is not going to take an effect. Before going further, let's increase the animation duration. Let's take it to somewhere 70. Let's see. I think it's fine. Now let's come to one of the views, come to the left. Let's come here, deselect the first part and move every other object 5 frames ahead. This could be a bit confusing. Just keep a sharp eye on the rings. Deselect 20, deselect 25, deselect this one 30, and deselect this one 35, deselect this one 40, deselect this one 45. Okay, which one is left? 50, deselect that. 55, deselect that. 60, and deselect that. 65. Let's see how it's coming up. Let's select the rings. This is our ring formation now. All right, let's see. Beautiful, beautiful. I think even better than I expected. So I think I made up a big mistake. I think this should be in the details part. All right, select all the rings and I want them to be a bit fast. I will press scale. Let's bring them a bit closer. Great, that's fine. Our rings are done. Now let's come back to our floor planks, which is this collection, not this. Where is the floor plank collection? It's this one. All right, now same thing, select all the floor planks, and by mistake there's a light. I will move it to the light spot, double click on this collection and Control A, all transforms to deltas. Now for this I want them to rise up like this, touch the ground, bounce, and then settle. This will be the animation. All right, so select one of the ring, one of the plank, maybe this one. Let's come back here. Let's hide the rings for now. Just for now, hide the rings. Or maybe let's start with this, doesn't matter. Let's put a keyframe for Z value, and let's come back here, Control T, so that I see the seconds. Let's take it that far up and again bring it back so that it's coming down, and I will select all T cubic, select all E, Control E, ease out, and this one ease in. Let's bring them a bit closer. Let's see the end product. I think this is fine. Now just understand, this is a curve which make the object go up then come down. All right, now same, you should ask yourself what happens if we simply Shift T and copy this, something like this. Now you will see that this is just mimicking the first curve, but now you will see that it's gonna bounce. See, it goes up and it bounces. But the thing is that I do not want this bridge gap between them. Let's again press ease out and this ease in. Now this is going to be a flawless bouncing motion. a bit fast, I think. Let's see. Great. Now let's work on the rotation. Like before, I will rotate the x-axis, put a keyframe there, and somewhere here this should be 360, and let's hide the Z location. Cubic ease out. Let's see. Fine, this is great. Just one final thing before we move forward, that is to animate the scale. Let's start from 0, put a keyframe there, and somewhere here, I think somewhere here it should come back, and it's not 0, I think. Press I, and somewhere here press 1, put a keyframe there, and let's see. Control E. First of all, T cubic, Control E is out. Let's see. Let's take it a bit back. I want it to be visible a bit before then it spins. Yes, I think that's fine. The motion is great. Now let's copy this motion. Control L, link animation data, object, relations, make single user, object animation. Let's take our, let's go to this keyframe, let's go to the side view, let's deselect this and push everybody else 3 frames ahead. 3, 6, deselect this, number 9, deselect this one, let's take it to 12, let's deselect this, take it to 15, deselect this one, 18, this one, 21. I hope you know the table of 3, 24, 27, number 30 comes here, 33 and 36 and 39, and I think last 2 are already gone. That's it. Let's see. Another beautiful animation. Now let's see how it is looking along with the rings. Alright, not bad. Now it is your personal preference. I do not want them to be starting all together. Let's select the floor planks now, and I want them to start when the first ring settles somewhere there, and now the floor plank should be visible. Let's see, rings are coming, and now you see these are some triggers which you need to make yourself. For me, the trigger is that the first ring triggers the animation of the planks part. That's what my thinking is behind my animations. You need to make your own trigger points. And now let's hide these two and let's start working on the details. Let's hide these floor planks and rings and shelf and carpet. Alright, now for this, the best thing is whatever you have settled on the shelf, make sure either they are joined or they are connected to an empty, something like this, if you see, so that it makes the animation a bit easier to begin with. Alright, so let's begin. For these, I do not want them to be very fancy. I want them to have some rotation and scale. Alright, first of all, make sure that whatever it is connected to or joined to, they are Control A or transformed to delta, something like this. I will select them all and one by one I will apply it. Alright, so I've made sure myself that my objects have my transform to deltas, and let's begin the animation of these objects. First of all, let's go to this frame. I will put a keyframe for Z axis rotation. Let's go to here. This shouldn't be long. This should be of around 1 second. 360, so that it spins and settles. Cubic ease out. Let's see, maybe a bit more fast. Alright, now same thing for the scale, 0, put a keyframe, and here 1, again cubic ease out. Let's see, it rises, rotates and settles. Now every other object, just select every other object should copy the animation of this object. I will select this empty, control L, link animation data, object animation. So I have quick shortcut for object animation, for which you have to go here, relation, etc, etc. So let's see how our objects are looking. They are looking nice. Now for this, it is your preference whether you need to have some variation, like some objects can be a bit late, or some objects can be a bit fast, something like this. So that is up to you. I think it is not that required. Let's see how it is looking with rings and floor planks. So I want to begin when half of the planks have settled, all right, somewhere there. Let's see. Fine, cool. Now let's animate the chair and the plant, and our chandelier is left as well. For chair, I am thinking this can replicate the animation of the plank. Control L, link animation data, object animation. Let's see. Alright, now this part can happen when the planks are settling somewhere there. Let's see. I think the bouncing animation is a bit faulty. Let's increase the time. Let's give it this animation, control L, link animation data, object animation. Let's see how it's bouncing. I think now it's coming out fine. Let's give it some variation. It should be a bit late and the planter should be a bit fast. Let's see. I think now it's fine. Only thing is left are these shelves, for which I want them to be simply rotated. Alright, first of all, select all of them, control A, all transform to deltas. And now let's select the one of the shelf. Let's select this one, put a keyframe here, put a keyframe at 0. Let's come back here, 360 high, and 1 keyframe, cubic, ease out. Let's see, it's forming like that, and I am sort of okay with it. Let's select every other shelf, control L, link animation data, object animation. Let's see how they are coming. I want the other two, these two, to have different rotation. I will select this and hide all the X, Y and Z, and let's come back here, and I'm gonna mirror this to by value over cursor value. Let's see, now it's coming from the other side. That's what I want. Let's select this, and this also should copy the animation of this. Let's see, so 2 are coming from left hand side and 2 are coming from the right hand side. So that is good for variation. Let's select these, and now these should happen right before the objects are being settled. Those objects somewhere here. Let's see how it's looking. Yes, now that's fine. This one and this one can easily copy the animation of that, but first of all, control A, all transform to deltas. Select this object, control L, link animation data, object animation, and these two can happen in the end, at the very end, somewhere here. All right, now one last thing is left, that is our upper body. Control A, all transform to deltas. Now this can easily copy the animation of the plank, control L, link animation data, object animation. But there is an issue. I do not want it to be rotated on that side. Let's first of all work on the Z location, because that bounce was a bit concerning. Let's make it happen right in the end when everything is settled. All right, I even think the rotation is all right. Now let's see the whole animation. Now the sticker part is left, and I want this to be rotated through the main center, and I have put my 3D cursor there. If you select this, right click, set origin to 3D cursor. Now it's going to rotate from the 3D cursor, from the central point of this whole setup. Control A or transform to deltas, hide the sub. This can take the animation of this. Control L, link animation data. Let's see, Alt H to hide, unhide everything, and there goes our all of the animation, and I am pretty fine with it. Alright, so that's that. I hope you were able to follow along, and if you have any questions, just put down in the comments and I will see to it. Next video is going to be about augmented reality, hopefully. Let's see when it comes out, and I will teach you what you can do with it using Blender. Alright, see you in the next video.